Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the most aggressive introduction to a Fresh Crits episode to date. Ladies and gentlemen, strap yourself in because this 15th of December crit down at the local church has got to be a spiciest one to date. Started off, we've got Plappy right on the front where all the hitters have come down to this race. Look on the left-hand side. Yep, that's Monk and his beautiful mullet flapping in the breeze. Make sure you give his podcast a listen. We've got Jack Marshall on the left-hand side in the Pinnacle kit. There's also Jimmy Whelan's down here. We've got Dr. 500 Watts. Mark O'Brien's also pinned a number on for this race. I think that's him in the rear cam there. Also to add to the damage, Max Gould, current under 21 national champion, is down here today as well. It is an elite field, and Little Fresh Crits has pinned on a number with the greats to try to hang on for as long as possible. And do you know what? I do all right. So make sure you stick into the end of this race because things do get very, very spicy as Marco launches one on the left-hand side there. Whilst you're hovering around in those comments and all that kind of stuff, flick that like button. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button. That does the channel a hell of a lot of good. Now let's get stuck straight into this race. So we're only about 10 minutes in. I'm on Shannon Scott's wheel. He's been loving the crits of late. It's great to see him down here. That's Brandon Green on my right in front of me there. Super strong rider. Also headed over to Nationals. And we've got Forbesy in the rear cam. Proper hitter. Man, I feel like I'm going to say that 1,000 times this video. It had all the strongest riders down here today. And it started that way, straight from the gun, launching attacks straight away in almost perfect conditions. Not a breath of wind to really be noted for in this race. And the circuit was relatively clear. Like there was no cars or trucks cruising around. There is one in potentially the worst possible spot, right in the apex of a corner on corner number 4. So make sure you give that a look. I'm sure we'll talk about it later on. So it's a classic Glenvale. It is 60 minutes plus 3 or 55 minutes plus 3, depending on how Brian's feeling and how all the riders are suffering. He likes to watch us suffer. And it was fast, a whole day fast racing. And there probably would be, I'd say, 40 riders down here today. Fortunately for me, I'm riding for Race Atlas. We've got Lewis Bull, who you can see in the rear cam. And Dino made a run for his money down here today as well, as I think this is a great time to launch an attack. As the bunch kind of slowed down, I had momentum, so I stepped on it. Was it a smart idea? Probably not, but we're going to get on with it anyway, and that's exactly what I do. You think I'm going pretty deep here, 500, almost 600 watts coming into that corner, but am I putting any distance into the riders behind me? No. What I'm wanting to do here is just to get a couple of riders to come through so at least we can roll turns and not be sitting in the bunch being super, super surgy. But unfortunately for Little Fresh Crits, no one wanted to sit with me today, unfortunately. So now it comes the time is when do I put the brakes on and return back to the peloton? It doesn't look like I'm going to do it too soon. It's only going to be a matter of time before the group chases me back. And that's exactly what they've done there. Plappy's identified me as a threat, fair enough, as he has chased me down, followed by a couple of other riders. That's the car I'm talking about, right in the middle of the apex of the corner. Shocking position to be. And I've cooked myself. There's no chance I can go with that one, and I am in recovery mode, hoping that I can get a sit. Instead, I'm just getting attacked. So not good start for Fresh Crits, but I'm sure he's going to be able to recover and get back into the race soon. We'll skip forward, pick up the race where it kicks off, and we'll take it from there. We've skipped forward about 10 minutes into this race, and I've noticed that instead when you're cruising into a corner or whatever, and you notice the bunch kind of move apart and slow down, and you're carrying momentum, previously I would jump on the brakes and kind of sit in the bunch and rest and recover, but lately, as my fitness has increased and I've got a little bit more confidence in my ability, I've decided to whack it, knowing full well that I have the fitness and have the ability to, if once caught, sit back and recover within the peloton. And that's something that, everybody is naturally going to get better at as they progress through the grade. So I've whacked it. Andrew Westy's come across with me, super strong rider, probably more suited for sort of punchy climbs, but still super strong at Glenvale nonetheless. And I've been joined in the rear cam by none other than Matt Darby, who is, as you can probably guess, an absolute powerhouse. This guy does 500 watts in his sleep, followed full well there in the purple kit, Mark O'Brien. This is a really good makeup of riders, but the problem is Marco's come across, and he is the most marked man in Melbourne. If Marco's in a break, the entire peloton joins together in a perfect formation to chase the man down. So when Marco's in a break, you're going to get your legs ripped off and you're probably going to get brought back. So it's not a good thing. I'll take it. I'm more than happy for him to sit on the front and punch 52 kilometers an hour whilst nose breathing. The guy's an animal. But sure enough, as he looks behind, we are being hunted down by the remainder of the peloton. We lasted a lap, barely, and that break is over. That just shows you the motivation of the peloton, and why it's important having a good makeup of riders in your breakaway to make sure a break sticks. And talking about a makeup of riders, let's skip forward where I think I get myself in the greatest breakaway known to man at Glenvale. We have skipped into 11Ks remaining at the back half of this race, and there's been attack central. It isn't until this moment when I get a cheeky love tap from Marco where the race is fully on. As we come around corner one, there's no one currently up the road. That group of riders you see there is actually C grade, being very well marshalled by the marshals at Caulfield Carnegie. As we come around this corner, I found myself on Marco's wheel, and if you're on Marco's wheel, do what you can to hold on to it, because the guy's a beast, and if you can get small enough, can provide a cheeky little draft as well. And when you're riding with a strong person and you see them getting the drops like this, you've just got to follow it. No matter how high or how sore your legs are, you've just got to try to go, because there's a reason why guys like Marco end up on the podium so often, is because they know when to go. They're experts at reading the race, and this is a really good move here. He's looked behind and he's noticed that a whole bunch of people are chasing him, which is fair enough. He is the most marked man in Melbourne. And with that in mind, I kind of sit up and recover, because I'm waiting for that next counter. That's why I've kind of parked it in the gutter, because I don't want anybody coming up on my right side. The majority of the race is on the left. And if you check the rear cam, you see Westy's gone up the road. I think that was Jack Marshall as well. It's only a matter of time before the creme de la creme of Australian cycling get on the front. There's Max Gould, there's Luke Plapp, there's Mark O'Brien, there's Brendan Green. We've got Jimmy Whelan there, Monk, and then little fresh critters in the mix on this one. I'm not meant to be here. I'm not meant to be here. This is not a place for me. I don't belong here, but I'm here. And what an awesome opportunity to be in the race with these guys. And look, this is one of those things where it's like an opportunity of a lifetime. So I've got to drag myself, claw my way through to see if I can stick with this break, because every man on their dog is going to be on this one. They're going to be in this. And, you know, there's already those little thoughts creeping in, is could this be the first time that I maybe win at Glenvale? You know, I kind of back myself as a bit of a sprinter, and I don't think Plappy or Cy or Jimmy Whelan are sprinters. I know Brendan Green's got a bit of a kick, but you know, there's a chance for little fresh grits. Meanwhile, we've got Oscar in the rear cam. That's a pain face. It's going up on the pain face wall, which is only fair enough, as Plappy is causing the pain that everybody is feeling in this breakaway. But if you look in the rear cam, where's the peloton? They've only just gone round the corner. I've been flicked through. Brandon's going, you got to go, mate. You got to go. I'm like, I'm empty. I can't. I've got nothing left. It's only at this moment where Oscar puts in a couple of deep pedal strokes to get across, which is extremely impressive after he's just bridged across to this one in the first place. And now we're all in the pain cave. And you know, it's almost 60 kilometers an hour is where we're pushing through here. As you see, Jimmy Whelan's just come off and having a good look at the riders in the break, getting an idea of what sort of faces are they showing. I'm all over the road. 184 beats. I'm in all sorts. I'm in pure survival mode here insect or lizard brain, as I like to call it. And if you had the Doomface guy on the screen, he'd look something like this. Total cooked is how I'm feeling. But I'm hanging on. That's all I need to do. Just keep pushing the pedals, stay with the bunch. This could be the make or break ride. But you know, you look at the people in this break. You've got all the hitters. Is that what it takes? Do we need every single strong person from the peloton to get in a break to keep this one away? Or does it need to be like this beautiful synergy between all the riders where they're working in harmony? Talking about harmony and synergy, check out the spray Oscar gets from Plappy here. I would pay good money to get that whilst I'm doing a 5x5s at the Edith Vale Velo. He's just getting Plappy screaming in my face, telling me to rip a turn. Absolutely love it. Poor little Oscar. He's in all sorts. Poor guy, he's probably peaking at 200 beats. And that scared the living daylights out of me because this is my turn to rip a turn. And I get on the front, and has anyone heard of what a hero pull is? Because this is exactly what a hero pull is. I'm at 187 beats and I'm pushing 400 watts because I know that if I do anything below 50 kilometers an hour, I'm getting screamed at. So I'm putting myself out the back door, 187 beats I pull off. Mind you, I get some good pats on the back from doing it. Look, yeah, no worries, boys. Yeah, good look, Si, big pat in the back there. But I've just gone and dropped myself, and that's the end of it. Fortunately, I'm able to slightly recover. I try to get a bit of a sprint in to get across to the break, but look in the rear cam. That's Max. He's bridged across out of the peloton to get over to this move. No wonder the man's a TT national champion. He's an absolute monster. But looking back at this break now, it's in all sorts. There's riders pinging off the back. No one's pulling through. There's no synergy. Like I was talking about before, it's a mess. Maxie's just got across to the break, and I've asked him, Max, can you please go? The kid owes me one after dropping me on an easy bunch ride up on the 1 and 20, so he does owe me a bit of a favour. As we get back on the finishing straight here, my heart rate is still at 190 beats. I'm in all sorts. And I asked Plappy to come and sit in for me because I've just got nothing left. And fortunately, he's a nice enough guy that he doesn't take the turn. A little bit unlike Brendan Green here. As we come around this corner, I ask him to pull through. And yeah, he gives me absolutely crickets. I tell him I'm empty. I tell him I've got nothing left. But I've got no other choice. I've just got to keep digging. I've got to keep digging. 185. I've never been... Well... Yeah, maybe not, but I don't think I've ever been this deep at a Glenvale before, and keeping in mind that I have done a metric ton of marshalling before this, so that's my kind of like bailout card, you know, if I get dropped, is like, oh yeah, but you know, I did all this marshalling and had to ride with B grade and the girls, and they're super strong, so you know, that's fine. Nah, it's weak as, mate. Just got to keep going, keep pushing those pedals, push that out of your mind. And as someone once told me, you just need to believe, and that's all I'm doing, is I'm just believing in myself, hoping that I can stick with these guys. As I look in the rear cam, there's no one behind. The peloton, they haven't gone around the corner. This is looking really, really good. And hey, look at that. My heart rate's dropped 3 beats from the last time we've hit this corner. So, you know, things are looking up. This is good. This is fine. 5Ks left. Every time I look over at Brian on the left-hand side, I'm trying to do Jedi mind tricks to convince him to put up the bell or 3 laps to go, but alas, it doesn't happen. And I find myself back staring at intensely at Si's mullet. And in fact, you know what? When I get super deep in the zone, I like get hyper fixated on someone's cassette. It's a strange thing. Let me know what you got fixated on when you're getting really deep. That's good. It's a good view. So the main peloton's just come around the corner, and unfortunately, well, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, a lot of people have bridged across, which gives me a little bit extra recovery to sit in. But the bad news is, in that MBO kit, that is Oscar Gallagher, a proper certified sprinter who will roll me every single time. when it comes into a sprint. And this is the final nail in the coffin for me. This is it. I'm completely rinsed. My heart rate's been well over its normal operating temperature, so to speak, and it's telling me, mate, you need to take it easy because you're not in a good place, and I'm just going to pull the pin on you and you'll end up right at the back door. So I've got to be mindful of that. Jimmy Whelan's also looking cooked, but to be honest, the man's been doing a lot of running and maybe even some swimming, as he's a dedicated triathlete now. And this is when Forbesy rips around the outside. That's when I take a glimpse over my shoulder. We've been caught. My hopes are dashed. I really thought that was the end. Unfortunately not. That is the end of the greatest breakaway I've ever been in. Unfortunately for me, there was no Michael taking photos today, which is devastating because I reckon I had wallpapers, fresh crits content ready to go for months on end of just constant photos of me ripping on the front on that main straight with Plappy holding my wheel. But again, it doesn't happen. So now the brake's been caught. My job is to get my heart rate under 170, I hope. Under 170 and I'm okay. But I think I've gone too deep in the red to really recover. Meanwhile, in the rear cam, Marco's got smiles on his face. He's been chilling. He's been having a great old time at the back there. So that's his kind of state of play. I'm rinsed. Marco's good. The rest of the World Tour riders are probably pretty good too. How am I going to get back? How am I going to contest the sprint in this exact situation? Just under 3Ks left. Are we going to get 3 laps to go? Yeah, of course we do. Brian holds up the 3 laps to go, just 1 lap too late for little fresh crits, and now he's back where he started. Where do I go from here? And just as I've said that, look whose wheel I've found myself on. Probably didn't want this in reality, but I found myself on Marco's wheel, and like I said before, if you find yourself on Marco's wheel and he looks like he's going to go, you've got no choice except for going with him, and that's exactly what I do. My heart rate did get down. Look, it was down at 160s, which is good. That's a good spot to be. But unfortunately, my legs are empty. There's nothing left in them. They feel so heavy. Concrete bits of blocks attached to my body. That's how they feel. Every pedal stroke is pure agony, but I've got to continue. I've got to keep driving because with 3 laps to go, Marco's launched here before and stayed away. So as long as I can stay with him, I know I can roll him in a sprint, I think. Maybe. Not sure about that. We'll figure that out later. But we've come around this corner onto the main straight, and we've found ourselves with no other than James Forbes, and that's when he goes again. And I'm there with him. I'm just this little pest, this little parasite that's just hanging off the back of him. Man, he must be getting annoyed with it. But I think he knows that I'm on my limit here. I'm gritting my teeth. I'm in all sorts. Marco's swinging across the road to try to shake me off his tail. And that's when I've cracked. The Nostromo boys have been glued to my wheel as well as Green. There goes Jack Marshall, and I've completely exploded here. Plappy passes me by. There goes Alex and a couple more Duda boys. Not in a good place. You can see how quickly my heart rate went from in a pretty comfortable spot of about 160 all the way up to 182. That's what fatigue does to you, unfortunately. And I've slipped now so far back in this peloton, it's going to be extremely hard to get back up to the front of this bike race. But stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. I've just got to now, say to myself, we're coming into the Bell Lap. I'm about 30 places back. It's going to take a fair miracle before I get to the front of the race. Look, I'm with my old breakaway partner. That's Oscar there, 151. And yeah, how am I going to get back? The peloton is completely strung out, basically single file, and we're coming into Bell Lap. That's when the fastest part of the race is. But in saying that, everyone's spread out across the road here. What's going on? Normally this is where it's completely strung out. There is a bit of a chance. Now I'm mindful going around the outside here. You've seen what's happened before. Check out one of the later videos. I probably won't link it, but go searching for fresh crits. I've been pinned on that gutter in a bad place, but I found myself completely boxed in. I'm stuck. That's when I make this pretty sketchy move onto the left-hand side so I can take the inside line of this corner to make sure I've got a bit of an open space. I'm hoping one of my teammates is around that can give me a bit of a lift up to the front, but you know, that's not to be. So I do my own work. The peloton shifts to the left, but I'm holding on the left-hand side because I want to take that corner on the inside. There we go. That's the spot I want to be in, the left side of everyone's wheel. I can take this corner, see the front of the bike race, but Plappy, you got a glimpse there? Plappy's on the front, he's driving it, but I really need to get to the front of the bike race right now. But in doing that, I'm going to have to burn a match to do it. We take this corner, I'm probably in about the 10th wheel, and now it's all in on the sprint. I'm not in a good place. I've tried to find a draft, but everyone's got way fresher legs than me. When I light up a sprint and I sit back down in the saddle, that's the leg saying, hey, that's enough. You've got nothing left. Don't even think about sprinting. And that's what I do. I roll across the line in about 20th position, but I can sit back and say I was in a break with some of the best riders in Australia, and that's something I'm really proud about. So that's a wrap for Fresh Crits today. Thanks again for watching. Please make sure you hit that like, subscribe, smash all the buttons at the bottom. If you want to flick me through shekels along the way, hit that thanks button. I'll see you next time. Ciao.